At 2, David Jones, an old Wigan St Patrick's boy. At number 3, Eden. At number 4, Mason. 5, Wilson. At half-back, Clements, who is an Australian, is a standoff this afternoon. At scrum half, one of the two Conways, Mark Conway at scrum half. In the forwards, at number 8, the former Wigan prop, Adrian Shelford. At 9, Billy Conway. John Clancy at 10, Gary Price at 11, Michael Jackson at 12 and Tracy Lazenby at 13. And the Trinity subs for this afternoon are Slater and Bell. The Wigan team, Hampson, the regular at fullback, Myers, who's topping the try-scoring list at number 2, Joe Lydon is at 3, and the newcomer to the Wigan team, I'm told he's from Namibia, Stoop at number 4, and Ball on the left wing. Panaper taking over from Edwards at stand-off half, and Andy Gregory, the Wigan captain, at scrum half. Wigan suffering very much in the front row. Skerritt out and Dermot out are replaced by Cowie at number 8, Gus O'Donnell at number 9, and Andy Platt, the ever-present, at number 10. In the second row, Betts at 11, Gildart at 12, and Billy McGinty, the recent signing from Warrington, in at loose forward. And Wigan substitutes for today are Blakely and Forshaw. Wigan then, the world champions, but this afternoon's team, but a pale shadow of the team that played so well against Penrith. Hampson to start the game off, low and hard, right up to the try line. Trinity now with a hard graft of bringing the ball away from their own line. Be calling on the forwards to clear it away from the danger, and sure enough, the acting half-back, ball tucked under his jersey, trying to bring it away from the danger zone. Both backs will probably spend these early stages sorting each other out as Adrian Shelford tries to bring the ball away. Wigan very thin on this side of the field, but unfortunately Trinity turn it back inside up to the 25. Flung back for the kick. Hampson, who's usually so safe at taking the ball, and it sits up for him so easily, coming up to the halfway line. Fighting his way into the Trinity half. Got Myers on his outside, who's got quite a high total of tries. Now it's Wigan keeping it tight. Both backs sorting themselves out in these early stages. Gregory, in general, moving it across field, and Wigan not gaining an inch as they move from side to side. O'Donnell, the substitute hooker for Dermot. Gregory passing behind Cowie. Platt, who's so strong, or driving in, but he's well tackled as Wakefield come in to meet them. O'Donnell now on to Gregory. Gregory turning it back inside. Betts handing them off. Wigan finding it very, very hard as Shelford coming in again with help. Gregory kicking behind the defence. Wilson, the left wing man, going back for it. Takes it right on his try line. Running crossfield dangerously on his own try line, and Wigan up very quickly to hold him down there. Trinity fighting the way from their own try line. Wigan moving in very, very quickly, and that's a dangerously long pass, and well taken and well run out by Trinity. A wall of attrition at the moment between these forwards, every inch of ground having to be fought for, and Wigan caught offside at the play of the ball, so it's a penalty to Trinity, relieving what has been a hard opening few minutes for them, as Wigan have been moving them in very quickly and pinning them down close to their own try line. Conway banging the ball into touch, brings them to 10 yards from the halfway line. Forwards taking them on, and they're met with a solid wall of defence. Trinity finding it very hard to make any progress. Wigan lined up very close. Galtris, the referee, not taking them very far back. It's just the 5 yards. Some of the referees make the 5 yards into 10. Nice switch of direction. And a good break. Trinity coming through now. Up to Hampson. They've got back to the support. Clancy, he made a beautiful break there now. Conway moving it out onto his right centre, out onto Eden. Inside onto Conway. Conway hoisting a high one, left-footed. into the in-goal area and well over the dead ball line. Well, Glancy broke through. How would you describe that great break by Trinity, Dave?
Well, tremendous work there from John Glancy. Broke through the Wigan cover straight down to the middle of the park. A little bit unfortunate there for John. A tremendous break, but the support not up in numbers as quick as it should have been. Perhaps if the support had been there, the move could have carried on, and possibly the first score on the board today would have gone to Trinity. However, from that resulting kick, Wigan will come away from their 22 with a tap, and it's Cowie at the moment being tackled by 3 Wakefield Trinity defenders. Back to you, John.
Thank you very much, David. And Wigan playing it hard in the forward as Billy McGinty goes charging forward. But the first clean break came from Glancy. Gregory now doing the run around, moves it on to Gildart. Gildart flings it back anywhere onto O'Donnell. O'Donnell bounces off one. O'Donnell trying to dance his way through. It's tackled low and hard and securely. Wigan now playing it down the right wing and now coming down the middle. Loose ball thrown away. Very lax play there by Wigan. And Trinity wide awake and quick on the ball. Referee calling over the trainers. Someone hurt in the tackle there. Glancy, who made a great break there, now suffered. He dropped on the loose ball. The ball was thrown away without much thought at all by Wigan there. And Glancy quickly onto it, onto the loose ball. Fell on it to get possession, but it looks as if it could be a bad one. Well, Wakefield suffered in the early moments, but suddenly they scythed down the middle and the Wigan defence was found wanting. And if only the supporting players could have got up with Glancy, there was great danger for the Wigan defence. They weren't close enough to him as he came up to Hampson, and Hampson managed to snuff him out altogether. And from the resulting play, the ball, Conway hoisting a high ball well over the dead ball line, gave Wigan the chance to come up to the 25, and the forwards battered the way into the Trinity half, and then a wild pass gave possession to Trinity, which unfortunately has resulted in the stretcher being brought on for him and it being taken off, thank heaven, without it needing to be used. So it will be, we'll start with the play the ball by Trinity with 6 more to go, about 15 yards inside their own half. Wigan up very, very quickly, mauling and wrestling in the tackle. Wigan having to retreat into their own 25 after the kick. Solid line of defence, blue jerseys is up. Wakefield went into the tackle, and referee Goldfuss none too happy with the way the tacklers went in, and so Wigan will get a penalty just outside their own 25. Referee signalling very graphically that a swing went in. Joe Lydon kicking for touch. Wigan, of course, without the regular kicker, without Botica today. They will probably miss him badly as Cowie goes charging in, taking them in. A very powerful run by the Wigan number 8. Must be quite a change from after turning out with Hornets to find himself with a team like this. Betts dumming, trying to break his way through, and the tackling is safe and steady as O'Donnell comes up to Gregory. Gregory moving it across onto Panaper. Panaper trying to crack through. It's well taken round the ankles and has to die just outside the 25. Platt now driving in hard, jumping his way through. Goes on to Gregory. Gregory hands it on. Ginty trying to drive in. Goes down in the 5th tackle as Wakefield come out well to take them. O'Donnell tried to drop kick. It's been knocked down. Wigan moving in quickly, but Wakefield on their own line once again. They're going to have to fight their way out of trouble. David Jones, the wingman, coming inside well, gains 10 yards of ground, a precious 10 yards every yard. So much value as Wigan are coming in and trying to push Trinity back. Trinity 10, 11 yards out, right in front of their own posts. Five tackles gone, says the referee. Trinity now lining up, ready for the kick. Deep one flung back. Ball going back, takes it outside his own 25. He has Hampson with him. Decides he's going to go in on his own, and he's well tackled. by Eden. Eden coming in well onto the tattle. Now Stoop, his first touch of the ball. O'Donnell. Long one inside. Panaper dumbing with it. Little bit of indecision there. O'Donnell to Gregory. Gregory onto Betts. Betts coming inside. Being well taken as the forwards. The Trinity forwards hunting as a pack. Three of them coming in together. Snuff him out. A lot of bulldozing and bashing going on at the moment. Wigan come up to the last tattle and Gregory puts the kick in. Down Wilson's wing, but it's coming to Spencer at full-back. Spencer coming up to his 25. All Wigan is in there to hold him up. Nice little dummy from behind the play. The ball gains a good 10 yards of territory. Wigan moving right into the Trinity line-out and forcing them to turn the ball back inside. Stultifying the fluid play. And that's the way that they're beating the defence at the moment. Kicking into the Wigan 25. Hampson coming out towards the touchline. Ball from behind the play, the ball. O'Donnell and the touch, judges out. Signaling that an elbow went in the tattle. I don't suppose it's done any damage, but it just gives Wigan extra yardage as Joe Lydon comes over to kick down the Trinity right wing. Doesn't gain a lot of ground, but it's safely into touch. So Wigan 10 yards inside. And they were fast asleep then, Wigan. Nobody knew what was happening. Ball flung back onto flat. Wigan very, very disorganised there with that penalty. Ball ran inside and nobody seemed to know what was going on. Turned back inside to Gildart. Gildart now trying to crash his way through. Wigan had a lot more of the ball than Trinity, I feel, and not done an awful lot with it. Betts now decides he's going to bash and crash his way through. Still on his feet. Referee must have said held as it's moved out. And there's some good tackling coming off by Wakefield. The long one comes out to Gregory. Gregory holding it. A long one out to ball and he drops it. An inexperienced player, of course. Very little experience on the first team. That's nerves coming into it. Conway comes over to feed. Conway puts it in, he'll get it out. Jones has come inside from the wing in between the standoff. Well, running very strongly, good running by Jones. Had a great performance at Wigan in the seven-a-sides. Probably wanted to show against his new team. Shelford goes crashing in. Trinity now in possession in the Wigan half. Way out onto the left wing, out to Wilson. Ball flicked inside and lost, and Wigan snap it up. The loose play there from Wakefield as they tried to keep the ball moving. Betts doing the run around. Wigan going crossfield, not gaining the ground. Trinity coming in, tackling well. Gregory first pass, in all the moves. Gildart getting nowhere as he's well tackled. Panaper onto McGinty. McGinty tries brute force and ignorance, trying to just kick his way through. O'Donnell. Hampson dumbing with it. And Trinity have moved up well. Spoiled the Wigan move, and they're on the last tattle. As Joe Lydon, a long, low grubber kick, will roll over the dead ball line. And as Trinity come out to the 22, perhaps you, David, would like to say how you see the game in these early minutes.
At the moment, both sides making a lot of mistakes. Wigan, the impeccable side against Penrith, failed in midweek to beat St Helens, and probably the rot is still continuing as they haven't probably moved into the overdrive which we know that Wigan can actually move into. Wakefield, however, obviously very disappointed from the defeat against Bradford midweek. They're trying to pick up the game. I would say there's not very much in the game, John, at the moment. I think both sides, as I say, making a few mistakes. The main clear break of the game so far going to Wakefield. So I would say it's a little bit even Steven at the moment, John.
Thank you very much, David. Not a lot of cohesion or fluid football. Hampson hoping that that ball would go dead, and it didn't, and he's caught 10 yards out from his line. He eventually had to pick it up in the in-goal area, and the Wigan forwards not coming back with any fire in the belly at all, ambling back slowly. Bit of a makeshift side, but even so, one would expect enthusiasm from them. Wakefield coming in hard, coming in quickly, and doing a good defensive job on the up end, and bounce Wigan down unceremoniously. And O'Donnell onto Gregory, and both sides having to resort to kicking to gain any ground at all. Spencer now, not a lot of room to move in as the Wigan line of defence moves up together, but they're still 10 yards inside the Wigan half. Coming in hard and gaining ground, coming more into the game, having little more possession now. Wigan had the ball for a long time. Conway now changing direction. Trinity moving the ball across the line forward, coming through without it, and Trinity have gone back a long way without making any ground. They've flown it up in the air, and now Wigan thrown a wild pass. Bannister having to go back to recover, holding it. And that's very scrappy and tidy play by both sides, insecure handling. Stoop coming up from behind to play the ball. He showed a certain amount of power as he drove forward. Cowie wanted to get on the burst, but they missed him out, went the other way and gave it to Platt. And Platt is stopped dead in his tracks. O'Donnell going through from acting half-back over the halfway line. Both sides lying in very close. They're in line with the referee, but he's not going very far back as Gregory holds it. Makes the break, makes the opening for Panaper. Lobs a long one out to Stoop. Stoop going inside. One feels the ball went the wrong way then, and that's the last tackle as Wigan take it up to the 25 line. Out to Gregory. Gregory hoists a high ball, an awkward one for the fullback. Spencer takes it well right on his own line, running it out well. A good clearing run by the fullback, and he keeps his line moving. That was great play from the Trinity fullback. A lot of mauling going on in the tackle before Wigan eventually come down and snuff Wakefield out. Conway now getting his pass in. Crowd urging Wakefield on the can. They've lost it again. Ball gone astray. Out to Gregory. Gregory handing on to Panaper. Panaper bringing McGinty inside. McGinty, who's a hard player more than a subtle player. And O'Donnell, short one onto Cowie. Cowie also playing the power game, driving it forward. Back to O'Donnell. O'Donnell to Gregory. Gregory changing direction. Back to O'Donnell. O'Donnell a long one. Wigan trying to crash the way through, but the Wakefield defence is very sound at the moment. They've had a lot of tackling to do. Gregory lobs the ball out, which has been bounced very awkwardly. Wigan coming inside. Referee waves the tackles out, and Wigan back to number one tackle. On to Betts. Betts trying to drive his way through, and he's held a yard short. Almost cracked it there with an odd sort of a pass from Gregory. Goes to Gregory. Gregory turning and twisting, changing direction, going out to the right now. Lobs it across onto Lydon. Lydon throws him along the ground onto Myers. Myers is covered, and he's going for the corner. Well, the cover was across. I thought they would take him, but with 17 minutes gone, Wigan get the first 4 points on the board. David?
Looped pass out to the centre, who did very, very well to release the ball in the tackle, although it was on the floor. Jackson moved across to try and thwart the attacking moves of Myers, but Myers just managed to skip round him and just squeeze in at the corner. Difficult kick for Lydon, but Wigan go into the lead, 4 points to 0.
And Joe Lydon now just in from the right-hand touchline. His kicking has been very much in and out this season. And that is why the job has been given to Botica, who's been like a machine. Joe Lydon hoists it high, and it's kicked to beauty. Well, you can never rely on Joe. Sometimes he kicks them from the touchline, and sometimes he misses them underneath the sticks. As Trinity prepare to kick off, the ground, the Trinity ground looking in beautiful condition, extremely well grassed, everywhere looking smart and neat. The ball is kicked deep into the Wigan 25, handed it on to the... And I'm told that it wasn't Joe Lydon who kicked the goal, it was Stoop. I wouldn't know Stoop from Adam, actually. I haven't seen him before. Wigan dragging the way out on the knees, grovelling the way outside the 25. O'Donnell from behind the play the ball onto Betts. Betts coming straight at them. Nothing spectacular, exciting about this Wigan play at the moment. Very little guile. Hard graft and effort as Cowan knocks one off, comes inside, looking to get shut of it, but his arms are locked and Trinity makes sure he doesn't offload it. 5 tackles gone, it goes out to Gregory. Gregory having to dummy. Gonna get caught, a long one out to ball, and the ball knows it's the last tackle. He's trying to go around Jones, and he's comes with a handover. 6 tackles gone. Trinity playing it quickly and trying to come away. And Wigan penalised for trying to steal the ball. And another 10 yards for opening the mouths. Very unprofessional attitude there. Once the penalty's given, not going to gain anything by gabbing. Ball put well into touch. Setting Trinity up now in possession. They've not been up here so often this half. Coming on to Shelford on the burst, and Shelford goes powering forward. Conway coming over from behind the play the ball. On to Clements. Clements dumbing with it. Makes an opening a mile wide, and Wigan desperately backtracking there. Trinity move the ball well then. Now they're stretching Wiggins. It goes way out onto the left wing. Out onto Wilson. Wilson Howell just in play inside the 25, but Trinity turning it on at the moment, took that very well off his toes, and Wigan in very, very quickly to snuff out the movement. Once again it's in the forward, they go chasing in. Gregory hanging on. 5 tackles gone. Trinity, grubber kick through, covered on the Wigan line. Trinity following up fast, pinning Wigan down, right on their own try line. Now it's Wigan's turn to do the hard work with the forwards. And that's a good clearing run. Gregory coming to act in half-back. Hesitates behind the play the ball. The Wigan spectators grow, but the break's on as Wigan come tearing down the field, and a beautiful tackle takes him clean out of the game. Wigan now have a chance to get the backs moving. It comes on to Betts. Betts is through, hands it on to Stoop. If Stoop is really getting into this game for a first appearance. Comes out to Gregory. Gregory's going to put the kick in behind the defence. Rolling into the in-goal area. Spencer having to take it in his own in-goal area. The 3 Wigan jerseys up there, 3 cherry and white, put him down 5 yards out from his line. I've watched Wigan practising at the play the ball. They have it well taped, and one goes to the left and one goes to the right, but they've different players out today, so perhaps they're not as well organised. Trinity now 10 yards out from their own line, backs to the wall as they fight their way out of trouble, and Wigan going in, holding them down. And there comes the kick. Joe Lydon going back for it, missed it at first attempt. Myers takes it in his own 25. No way through for him.
It's an interesting comment that, John, you got the players mixed up, but Joe Lydon seems to be struggling with an injury, and the Wigan bench are trying to bring on a substitute. It looks as if Joe Lydon's struggling with something wrong with his leg, seems to be limping, so I would presume at the next stoppage Wigan will replace Lydon with substitute Blakely.
Thank you very much, David. Quickly out onto Stoop. Stoop held just short of the 25 line. Wigan have used up the tally of tackles as Gregory, it's a high ball, it glues off his foot, and that could be very dangerous. Myers couldn't get to it. Trinity were there first. There were 3 Trinity players and only Myers. That was a poor kick by Gregory. And Trinity now tacking down the left wing, driving the way up to the halfway line. Game bogged down. Neither side able to crack the opponent's defence. A lot of effort going into the game, a lot of graft. We're not seeing a lot of craft. Trinity inside the Wigan half, moving it out. Little grubber kick behind. That's a nice kick being well traced by Jones. Hampson on his own line. Gets away from Jones. Powerful running by Hampson. Takes it up to the 25. He's still on his feet. A tremendous clearing run by the Wigan fullback. Ball going inside. He's bounced down as Shelford and Conway came in to take him. Long pass going across the field onto Betts. Betts juggling with it. Still taking them with him. Very strong for such a young boy. Canepa dummying almost up to the halfway line. O'Donnell now coming over where he should be behind the play. The ball out to Gregory. Gregory running straight out in a short pass. Wigan looking to offload and nobody coming onto it. There's very little combination between this Wigan side this afternoon as Andy Gregory sends a long searching kick. 26 minutes gone. Wigan still leading 6 points to nil as Trinity are forced back into their own 25 once more.
Number 14 is Steve Blakely, for number 3 Joe Lyden.
Wigan now with two A-teamers. I wonder if they're going to put Blakely out on the wing and perhaps bring Myers inside. Trinity with possession, coming up to the 25. Forwards putting their heart and soul into it. Bags of effort from them. Stoop going in, smothers his man, puts him down well. Jones coming over to act in half-back. Jones having a little run, going cross-field. Runs into Platt and Cowie. Referee signals that we're on the last battle as the ball's flung for the kick, left-footed. Hampson having to retreat, bounces very awkwardly for him. He's hoping it'll go over the dead ball line, but and eventually it does. It just crawls over the dead ball line. So back to the Wigan 25. Donald going to play them on his own. Managed to turn it inside onto Gregory. Gregory just handing it on. Not savouring the hard work round his own 25. Gildart, very informed, managed to get his pass in. Wigan backing up well, combining well there as they clear the halfway line. Out to Gregory. Gregory holding it, going down the middle, ducking under tackle. Referee looked as if he was in the way. Wigan have knocked on, and Trinity quickly onto the loose ball. Gregory not looking completely fit. Wigan line on a little bit in the tackle there, and they were holding, but Trinity were wanting a quick play of the ball. Once again, Trinity, good break by the forward, and it throws a wide pass out, been picked up by Trinity. Referee, did he signal back to one, David, did he not? Yes, he's signalling back to one, so Trinity with another 6 bashes at the Wigan line, moving it out well, trying to get it out the right wing, and Jones can't take it. Final pass going astray, and going into touch as Mason, who played so well until he was taken off in the Roses match, came through extremely well, tried to get it out to Jones on the wing, couldn't take it cleanly, so it'll be a scrum down just outside the Wigan 25. Andy Gregory strolling over to pick the ball up. Galtrus keeping the front rows apart. Back's not straight. Referees penalised Wigan. The back was not straight when it was going down. And so Trinity now with a Penalty just outside the Wigan 25. Conway stabs it into touch. Trinity now in a good position, 20 yards out. Hooker Conway hands it onto Glancy driving forward. Shelford now, it's his turn, taking the Wigan pack on. Right in front of the Wigan post now. Can they make this into points? As they change direction onto the fullback, Spencer going inside, and he's easily put down. Conway out onto number 11, and he's flicked the ball back, going for the line, and one fielder. They'd spread it out there. Wigan were in awful trouble, trying to force the way over from the corner, and Jones went very well for the line. He's forced into touch, just short of the line, so it'll be a 5-yard scrum. Now what's going to happen, David?
Well, it's very, very difficult, John. Obviously, I think your comments were right. Perhaps the ball should have been fast-handed out towards Wilson's wing, and perhaps Wakefield would have been in for a try. They'd committed most of the Wigan forwards to covering this blind side, but as you see, the ball was turned back inside, and Wigan snuffed out the attack from Jones, and from the resulting scrum, Gregory brought the ball away and fed on to Hampson there. Gregory, in fact, although you say, John, that he's not quite fit, he still seems to be the ball player supreme in this Wigan side, and he's making his forwards run. And I think at the moment Gregory's the difference between the two sides. Gregory is bringing his forwards onto the ball, creating a lot of space for him, whereas at the moment we just seems to be struggling at half-back here at Wakefield. But even so, the game at 6 points to 0 in Wigan's favour, evenly poised as we approach the last 8 minutes in the first half.
Thank you very much, David. Oh, there's no doubt about the Dandy Gregory is the little general. He dictates the play and what's happening, and for long periods he doesn't seem to do a tremendous amount, and then suddenly a little dart, a little kick, and there's untold problems. Wigan moving in very, very quickly from the charger. Finding it very, and Shelford now careering his way through, slips the ball away, but it's pretty futile. It comes to Conway, and they're dummying the way through, and a low hard tackle by Gildart takes out the danger. Conway coming into the game, turning, they're having a job putting him down. He's trying to offload, and it was a great run. Great heart, took him a long, long way. Conway moves it across, and they turn back into trouble. 5 tackles gone. Well, there's a bit of spark there in the Wakefield side. A high testing up and under. Hampson loves these. He's usually so safe. Once again, he takes it cleanly, but Trinity follow up very well with a solid line of defence. And Wigan allowed to run a long, long way from the acting half-back over the 25 line. Cleared the line well there. No organisation then in the Wakefield defence as Cowan now trying to keep it moving onto Gregory. Now Gregory's shown he can move, and we're going to get penalised, I think, for an obstruction. The referees let it go as McGinty coming through from acting half-back, holding it. McGinty makes the break, and it beautifully tackled out of the game. He had Betts on his inside. If he could have shifted it, could well have been a try. And it's Gregory again, long wide pass out. And good tackling by Trinity. Stop Wigan dead in the tracks. 5 tackles gone, says the referee. Gregory kicks it. Not very well. His high kicking has not been particularly good. Jones going inside. That's 6 minutes to go to the end of this half, and nearly all the players been down in and around the Trinity 25, and they found it very hard to make ground. Occasionally they've shown a great flash and side through the Wigan defence, and there they come again with Shelford turning over the halfway line. Hampson takes him well and hard. Crowd roaring for a knock-on as that he went down on the ball. Trinity coming in with a lot of force and a lot of fire now, just outside the Wigan 25. Ball dropped again. There's been so much of it. Glancy is going off and Bell is coming on. Glancy hurt. They brought the stretcher onto him in the early stages of the game, but he stuck at it. Gregory feeds, and I use that word advisedly. He got away with murder a few minutes ago to scrum. Referee not seeming to bother. He puts it in, gets it out. Onto Ball, who's gone in from the wing. Tall, thin lad. And, of course, not got the power or the strength, and he's driven back by the Wakefield defenders. Now it's Platt. On to Gildart. Gildart pretending to turn it back, but Wakefield don't buy it. O'Donnell, bad behind to play the ball. Knocks on. He's probably practiced that 1,000 times, and when it matters, he made a mess of it. So it should be Conway to feed the scrum, halfway between the halfway line and the Wigan 25. And it goes, shoots quickly out to Conway. Conway moving it across field, trying to get it out to the left wing. Wigan cover, goes across, no problems for them. And it's very much one-man rugby by both sides. They look as if they're stranded in the desert at times as the players stand watching the other man with the ball going through. Conway standing still, expecting to get the ball. He didn't get it. Clements left him a bit stranded. Neither side seeming to have any imagination when it comes to cracking the opponent's defence. Awkward bouncing ball, just missed going into touch, and once again that 3 or 4 times it's rolled over the dead ball line at the Wigan end of the ground. Very little enthusiasm among Wigan to get on with this game. Probably praying for the half-time break. Happy to be 6 points in front. Platt coming striding forward, straight at the opposition. Betts probably the one Wigan forward who's really capable of cracking the opposite back, and they're finding him quite a handful. Gregory. Hampson getting the line moving. Wigan tearing down the field, but good tackling by Trinity stopped them 10 yards inside the Wakefield half. Gregory. Lobs it back to Gregory. Betts didn't know he was going to get it. Betts is drowning his way through. 5 tackles gone. Betts the one man I feel in the Wigan pack who's got the speed to come through. Gregory again puts his little grubber kick in. Back to 1, says the referee, as Wigan trying to force the way over. It's in the far corner. Couldn't see who went over, couldn't see who got the try then. No try. So it's a 5-yard scrum, very scrappy on the far side of the field. Wigan were up to the last tackle, the ball seemed to go loose, the bodies all over the place. Trinity to feed, right on their own line. Ball once again shoots straight out the side of the tunnel. Referee coming round to have a look at the forwards on the other side of the scrum. Trinity with it on their own line. They're going to have to work hard to get it away from there. Just about 2 minutes to go to half time. Still 6 points in it. Trinity now spreading the ball well, but the Wigan defenders come in. Stoop playing his first game, doing quite a lot of good work. Ginty coming over, easily eluded ball then in that little run. Conway holding it, puts a kick. Hampson having to go cross field for it, and that looks like a good kick, and it rolls. Touch judge puts his flag up right on the corner flag. A great kick, pushing Wigan right back to their own try line. But if Gregory gets away with what he's got away with so far when it comes to feeding, I would imagine that Wigan will have possession from this scrum. Sure enough, Gregory hands it on. Myers trying to bring the ball away. Myers moved inside. Blakely trying to come through from acting half-back, gets up to the 25 line. Now it's Platt's turn. One downstairs, one upstairs, and he's effectively stopped. O'Donnell having a run, gains a good 10-12 yards of ground. Gregory taking it on, he has Gildart with him, gets it on to Gildart, on to Betts. Betts keeps it moving on to Cowie. 5 tackles gone, and Gregory knocks on. And there's some very untight 6 tackles, so it's to play the ball. Trinity now breaking down the centre over the halfway line, well backed up. There's grave danger here, and he's knocked on with the line wide open. Well, that was a good combination between Mason and Conway. They split Wigan wide open at a vital period of the game. We're into injury time. They took it down, and the final pass just going astray. Wigan physio on, Keith Mills on, giving attention. But the cleaner breaks in this half have come from Wakefield. They've struggled for long periods, but when they have come through cleanly, they've been just failing at the last second. So Wigan clinging on to this lead for dear life as they're going to scrum down 12 yards out from their own line. Betts needing attention. He was hurt a little earlier on. Gregory feeds. Gregory falls on it, quite happy to have possession. In these dying seconds, Wigan will stick it up the jumper, batter the way forward. On to Platt. The game he plays so well, driving out. Now it's Cowie's turn. Cowie gains another good 10 yards of ground, dies with it 35 yards out. O'Donnell now waiting for the play of the ball. On to Gildart. Gildart coming back into Wigan, and she's very dull, unenterprising stuff from Wigan at the moment. It goes to Gregory. Gregory's kick goes behind the defence. Wilson coming inside, going strongly, great run by Wilson, powering his way, and eventually he's down. But Trinity now in a good attacking position, being forced across field. Ginty coming across, but showing Conway, long pass inside, stretching Wigan. Overhead kick. Sits up awkwardly, but Wigan have it out on the right wing, inside 5 yards out from their own line. And there goes the hooter for half-time in a non-spectacular game. The players go in, Wigan leading 6-0. The Wigan player down in front of us here, needing attention. Billy McGinty suffering a little bit. As I hand over to David to give you his views on the first half.
Tremendous game as far as Wakefield Trinity are concerned. I think after the performance against Bradford, when a lot of people thought we could have won it in the last stages, to come back and play like they've played here today against the mighty Wigan, it's good for the players, it's good for the coach, it's good for the spectators. It's been an absolutely tremendous game today, and at 6-0, I don't think Wakefield Trinity are out of the game. Let's just hope that the second half is
Well, this game could go either way as Trinity kick right up to the Wigan try line. Spent a lot of this, nearly all the first half, looking at the try line down at that end of the ground. Will it be the same this half with Trinity putting the pressure on Wigan? Thank you. Platt. Ground strangely quiet. Not a lot to shout about at the moment as O'Donnell comes up onto Cowie. 5 tackles gone as Wigan get almost up to the halfway line. O'Donnell decides he'll put the kick in. Wilson going back for it. And Spencer's watching it like Wigan did in the first half. It rolls over the dead ball line. Back to the Trinity 25. Conway getting them moving. Trinity now trying to break through the Wigan defence, take it up to the halfway line. Nice breakthrough as it goes out on to Jackson. Jackson coming through over the halfway line. Sits up nicely for Hampson. Staying close to the touchline. Wingman ball coming inside. Pass behind Platt as Betts trying to force his way through. Onto Cowie. Cowie knocks off one, managed to get onto Myers. Myers being held, still struggling. Wilson hanging on to him. O'Donnell onto Gregory. Gregory holding it, trying to cut through. Get it out behind the play of the ball. Long kick back to Hampson, hoists it up in the air. Hampson chasing it. So they're all on as Hampson, the referee says they're not. Hampson has followed it up. Penalty to Trinity, just outside their own 25. Conway left-footed, good touch kick. Trinity now trying to stretch Wigan, moving across the field. And the drop ball, gratefully taken by Wigan. Coming through, took his eye off it, lost it. O'Donnell onto Gregory. Wigan lobbing it about. And the touch, the referee calling the physio on straight away. Wigan player writhing in agony on the ground. Betts, who was injured early on in the first half, is obviously carrying a knock. He was Wigan's most ever-present player last season, but it's been a hard season for them, been a hard season for most teams, but Wigan with the cup ties, and he's going off. And Forshaw will be brought on. Wigan will sadly miss Betts. And Shelford also needing attention. As he had, hasn't he had quite a bit of injury recently, Adrian Shelford? Didn't I read that he'd been out of the team for a while?
Yes, he has. He suffers terrible with his knees. He had an exploratory operation, but nothing was found to be drastically wrong with it. They removed some form of dirt and things around various parts of his knee, and he seems to be training and playing a lot better, although the way that he's hobbling at the moment, it wouldn't suggest so.
Yeah, it looks a bit like a Batjer case as Platt goes driving forward. O'Donnell waiting behind the play of the ball to Gregory. Gregory juggling with it, back onto Gregory. Gregory bringing it inside. Wigan going hard for the line as McGinty came tearing through. Wigan showing a bit of cohesion now, the ball flowing about fairly sweetly. Gregory, a long pass across the field, and Trinity came in extremely well read indeed. Gregory lifts it high in the air, and the ball's been dropped. Play clear on that very, very quickly. Trinity now back to their own try line, having to fight the way out. And you'd think the crowd were at a funeral the way they're quiet at the moment. Nothing. And Trinity coming away well. Gildart going in for the tattle. 5 tattles gone. Trinity lining up for the kick. O'Donnell moved up very, very quickly. And that's hampered his kick. And that's a knock on. So it will be a handover. Wigan outside the 25 with a play of the ball. Comes out to Gregory. Gregory going down the middle, looking for support. His arms are locked. He can't get shut. O'Donnell To McGinty. McGinty tearing through. Well tattled. O'Donnell to Gregory. Gregory holding it onto Platt. Platt trying to batter his way through like a tank. Not a lot of imagination being shown in the attack at the moment as it goes out to Gregory. Now something could happen. He's lost the ball. Wigan pick it up and roll over, but Gregory in two minds as to what he was going to do. Lost possession, and so it'll be Conway to feed the scrum.
Wakefield look to be making a substitution, John. Shelford hobbling.
Shelford's going to come off. Now who are they going to bring back on? Because they got
Lazenby's been brought back on.
and Lazenby coming back on. They've already had two forwards off. That shot out quickly. Referee wants it in again. Shelford obviously in some distress. Wigan Pack showing no strength there as they went down, so Wakefield easily got possession. The Wigan line of defenders waiting as determinedly Trinity bringing the ball inexorably. Three Wigan forwards coming into the tattle. Can't get out of that sort of thing. Now Trinity moving across the line and dancing the way through. Gildart having to backpedal as Trinity clear the 25. And that was desperation tattling as Trinity nearly made the break down the right wing. Hampson takes it cleanly on his own 25, ambling into the middle of the field. He's so strong with his hand off. He knocked him off, dumming his way through. Dumming to come inside, almost into touch. Myers from behind the play the ball, and he's penalised quite correctly for not playing it correctly. Rolled it back, didn't touch it with his foot. A stupid penalty to give away. Wigan on the first tattle, and the touch judge is on. He must have opened his mouth.
Well, Wigan obviously having a lot of problems with injuries, but having a lot of problem getting the game together, and that's a bit of unprofessionalism there from Hampson.
Very silly mistake to make. It now puts Wakefield into a real good attacking position where it should have been. Wigan with the ball, and they've made the break. They're going through for the line, and they must score. Trinity are in. Jackson batted his way through. Jackson goes through for Trinity's first try, and a lot of that can be put at the door of Hampson, who foolishly gave away two penalties, making it now Wigan 6, Trinity 4, and this is a kickable shot. David.
Well, a lovely move from Wakefield Trinity there. From the kick to touch, which Conway put in. Billy Conway set the move going, a couple of drives, set the move up. Clements moved across the park, showing the ball to a few forwards that were running direct and strong. Slipped the ball at the last gasp to Jackson, who went through, almost fumbled as he took the ball, but he took the Wigan defence on, shrugged off a couple of would-be tacklers, and therefore went out some midway between the post and the touchline side. The wrong side for Mark Conway to attempt the goal, but a possible chance to put things level as he approaches. He struck it sweetly, and that's a fine kick from Mark Conway, and that put the scores all level, 6 each, with some 5 minutes gone into this second half here at Bellevue. Wakefield Trinity then have clawed their way back, and Wigan down to 12 men. Could this be some form of a revival for Wakefield, and could they go further in front before Hampson resumes his play with another, I would say, about 5-6 minutes of his suspension to carry?
Well, Bellevue latterly has been a bit of a graveyard for Wigan, and it's beginning to look very ominous for them at the moment, as Trinity playing with a lot more fire and a lot more determination and a lot more cohesion. And Wigan are like a team out of sorts at the moment. Ball knocked back, says the referee. Wigan not showing a lot of imagination in their attack. They're defending fairly well. They're coming in quickly and smothering them, but every now and again it's slipping, and Trinity coming hard down the middle. But they were well set up there by Hampson with 2 bad mistakes. And Trinity now, the tails up, coming driving in at the Wigan defenders. They must feel very confident, having levelled the score so early, and the gap's on again, the break's coming through. Bad tackling by Wigan, high tackling, arms sticking out, not going in hard into the men, and Trinity capitalising on it. Coming straight down the middle again. And eventually Gregory gets to his man. The ball slipped out and it couldn't be taken cleanly, so it's a let-off for Wigan. It's on the last tattle, so it's a play the ball, and Wigan seemed unsure as to who was going to do what, and eventually it's Cowie who gets possession and drives a few yards forward. Wigan now driving down the middle, Forshaw having a run. Wigan very tight at the moment, as Gregory holding it, gliding across the field. Wakefield having none of it, put him down without any messing, and he gets up awfully slowly. Wigan grovel away forward rather ignominiously from behind to play the ball. O'Donnell changing his mind, going round in ever decreasing circles, and disappears. Gregory, little grubber kick, well covered, well taken by Trinity, running it out, turning defence into attack. Metzen coming through hard, a long pass out onto Wilson. Wilson being faced with the opposition, goes inside and he drops the ball. Referee said he dropped it backwards as Mason comes up to half-back. Mason hands it on inside. Conway sends a long pass. Wigan being stretched over the far wing as Trinity got turning up to the 25 line. Cover goes across, knocks out the movement, but it's Trinity turning on all the taps now as they take on Wigan. The tails are up. Bad passage well taken by Mason. Mason going hard, being covered across. McGinty doing a loose forward job very well. Wilson coming up to act in half-back. Inside the 25, onto Conway. Conway sends a long one. Surely that's a knock-on. Been played on, I think. The referee's going to give the knock-on. Well, Trinity were firing on all cylinders then, and Wigan were in a lot of trouble. Bad handling eventually. The move broke down, and so it will be Gregory to feed. And Gregory gets it out, bringing it away round the narrow side of the field. Ball doing the run around with Gregory. Ball still coming, trying to get out of sound, safe tackling. O'Donnell now at half-back, on to Gregory. Gregory showing them the ball, trying to bring them down, and Trinity spotting it well, coming in, taking the right man. Wigan turning down the left wing now, there's plenty of cover there, but it was a good attacking move, takes it up to halfway between the halfway line and the Trinity 25 line. Forshaw hoists it, Spencer's there, and he takes it very, very well under a lot of pressure. Trinity now on their own 25. Wigan forwards having a job holding this Trinity back at the moment. They're coming at them hard and strong and straight. Wigan defenders locking their arms around to make sure the balls are not shipped out, and once again the quick away from the play the ball right up to the halfway line for the fifth tattle. Little overhead kick, that could be dangerous. Myers at fullback, makes the rest of it, lost possession. Ball's lobbed out to the wing, bit of fumbling, referee says it's gone back, play on. And Trinity still driving forward, still in possession. Well, that kick through proved a great danger to Wigan. Myers couldn't take it cleanly. Forshaw coming in. Trinity hot on the attack now, really putting a lot of pressure on the Wigan lines as he stretch it out and then try to come through the middle, and a knock to the ground. Scores level at 6 points each. Trinity now trying to get in and out to the right wing, coming inside. Trinity turning it back inside, going for the line. Ball's dropped and loose, and the referee says ball's been dropped. On the last tackle, so it's Wigan. And Wigan have dropped the ball on their own line. Well, there's panic in the Wigan ranks, and Trinity going to fight hard to keep Wigan there. Coming in like greyhounds out of the trap. They're coming up quickly and holding Wigan down. Wigan going across the field, not penetrating at all. Our Platt takes him on, gains a good 10 yards of ground. On to Gregory. Gregory changing direction, puts the kick in behind the defence. Spencer sits up nicely for him, coming up to the halfway line. Panaper takes him round the legs. Ginty comes in and completes the tackle. So it's Trinity back with another 6 attempts at hitting the Wigan line. Conway's feet go from under him and he doesn't gain much ground. Are they going to score before Hampson comes back on, do you think, David?
They're going to have to do very quickly then, because Hampson at the moment's just stood by the dugout there. He's waiting to come back up. His time must be up any minute now. But Wakefield Trinity have really capitalised on this 10-minute spell that Hampson's had in the sin bin there for mouthing at the referee. Let's just hope that Wakefield can score before Hampson comes back, because then I think we will be in for a really, really tremendous finish to this game. So far the game's been absolutely tremendous. The paying spectators must be thoroughly enjoying every minute of this game.
Can't agree with you entirely, David. Also not open up Wakefield a good to score. Well, Hampson's 10 minutes are up. He's standing on the sideline, and Wigan struggling inside their own 25, trying to bring it away. Knowles on the ground. It'll be a great rut there when he tried to come through from the play of the ball. And Wakefield are tackling out of the skins, are tackling Wigan out of the game. Yes, David?
Sorry, I'm very sorry for the unbiased comment there, John.
Oh, I'm completely unbiased. I don't mind who wins, as long as it's Wigan and Wigan are driving forward. Now Wigan have made a clean break at last, but the good tackling stakes it out. 5 tackles gone on the 25. Now can they keep it moving? Grubber kick put through, being chased and cleanly picked up by Wilson. Wilson going inside, Gildart going across for him, and he can't take it, and Wilson made a lovely break, and Myers takes him well, doesn't do enough to stop him, and the chase is on for the line, and this should be Trinity, and Trinity are going to take the lead. Your wish was granted.
Well, John, the wish was granted. But for the paying spectators here at Bellevue today, that was an absolutely tremendous try. Wigan did everything right. They put on all the moves. Gregory, a lovely little chip forward. But what a gather by Andy Wilson. Andy Wilson went clean through from just 10 metres from his own line and tucked inside his own corner. He went some 50 yards towards the halfway line, and who was in support? Yes, Andrew Mason, Trinity's top try scorer for the last 2 seasons. Now it's said that when Andy Mason gets clear, no one catches him, and that was evident there. The winger was trying in vain to get close to Andrew Mason, but Andrew Mason, a salute to the support of Wakefield Trinity today, and he went over underneath the post. And with Conway to convert almost underneath the post, it looks as if Wakefield Trinity are going to be 12-6 in front, and that's a tremendous fight back from the Bellevue outfit. And the kick is there, so 12 points to 6 now to Wakefield Trinity. And as John said earlier, could this yet again be a defeat for Wigan at Bellevue?
Well, the first time Wigan made a really clean break, Trinity scored, and it was an extremely good try. Wigan tore down the field. What could have been a dangerous kick from Andy Gregory was well taken by Wilson. And Mason, who had a good game until he was taken off in the Roses match, Did all that was necessary. Trinity now bounce down, and Cowie also bounce down in the tattle. It's going to need a bit of a miracle if Wigan are going to come back in this game. Trinity leading and worthy of the lead and playing extremely well. Desperate tackling by Wigan is all that's holding Trinity at bay, but they've certainly got the tails up now as they're taking on Wigan, knocking them down, and Wigan slow coming in to complete the tattle.
The second row pairing of Wakefield Trinity, Michael Jackson and Gary Price, who incidentally is a very, very good friend of Dennis Betts, have played absolutely tremendous for Wakefield Trinity. Betts was probably the best forward that Wigan had, and his opposite number, Gary Price, he's had a tremendous game for Wakefield Trinity as well. So some good performances by two potentially Great Britain's second row partnership pairing.
Well, Hampson back on the field trying to make amends for his mistake, made a very good run, but the Wakefield defence is very solid at the moment as Gregory hands on a short pass. Forshaw. Wigan just handing it on without any purpose or any plan. Lazy play by Wigan. Forshaw. Gregory putting the kick behind the defence. It's rolling, but Wilson should have it covered. But he lets it roll in. He knows he'll get possession from the scrum. Referee seems quite indifferent as to how the scrum is fed, and he's been quite constant. He's been the same for both sides. He who's put it in has got it out every time so far as Conway feeds. Conway coming away from the scrum. Forshaw follows him across. Little stumble there by Trinity in their own 25. Wigan not putting the men down, and a wild pass has cost Trinity good 10 yards of ground. Trinity now back to 10 yards from their own line, spreading the ball across the field. There's the left-footed kick. Blakely having to go back for it. As Myers with him, he'd probably be happy to die with it as he met with a wall of defenders who put him down. No mistake. Hampson coming over to behind the play of the ball. Into Ball, who's juggling it, and he's lost it. Referee's going to let them play on. Could well have been a voluntary tackle then. He took a dive onto the ball and stayed down. Well, Wigan not capitalising on the possession, losing the ball very early in the tackle count. Ball coming inside, trying to help out. Made a mess of it, lost possession. Almost a mortal sin. Blakely having to turn back into his own 25. It's nowhere near the touchline as he goes in play. Referee waves the Wakefield players on as they're onside.
I've not seen a Wigan side so unorganised, John, for a long, long time. They're walking about now as if they're not quite fit enough to keep up with the pace that Wakefield Trinity are putting on. Wakefield Trinity doing everything, tackling, running with the ball, and Wigan just seem to be bunching, walking about. Don't look as if they're fit. You know, is it because, John, that you feel that they've got a lot of injuries?
They've a lot of injuries, but some of them are on a very inexperienced. They look. I used to have a caretaker who was a master of words, and he had a lovely word about the forwards. He used to say they were proper lackadaisical yesterday. And that's Wigan. They're lacking fire and they're lacking cohesion. Very little plan, as you say. The only one who's likely to make a spark is Andy Gregory, and he's not full of his usual fire. And Wigan caught in the last battle, Trinity with it. "27 minutes gone in this second half. And I know there's only 6 points in it, but at the moment it looks as if there's only going to be one winner. Wigan are going to have to pull something very special out if they're going to get this chestnut out of the fire. Gregory with it, long one on to Wigan showing them the ball and going nowhere. Across the field. Myers, who's in the centre now, going to act in half-back. Gets it back onto Panaper. Panaper onto Forshaw. Panaper going to act in half-back. Up to Gregory. Gregory throws the ball away, trying to do something and not achieving anything, giving possession to Wakefield Trinity. Trinity right on top at the moment. Conway moves it inside. Lazenby driving in hard. Wigan having a job holding him. And the Wigan laying off the attackers now. They don't seem to want to meet them the way they did early doors. Once again, the acting half-back comes tearing through, and the ball's been lost and knocked on. Well, if anybody's going to score the way the game's going at the moment, I think it's going to be Wakefield. They're piling all the organised pressure on. There's very, very little coming from Wigan. Gregory managed to get it moving from the scrum onto Myers. Myers, well taken. Hampson. Hampson onto Forshaw. Forshaw taking them with him. Blakely cutting inside to very little effect. Gregory, short pass. Wigan grinding the way forward. Long pass from Gregory. And the Wakefield defence easily holding up against the Wigan attackers as Gregory hoists a high ball. And he's going to be given offside.
Well, Hampson came through. It was debatable as to whether Hampson was offside or not. It's very difficult for us to see. We were following the ball, but an absolute superb take by Spencer under pressure. Took the ball very, very cleanly. Hampson went into him, as he's had it done a lot to himself. Marginally lucky to stay on the field, having also received one yellow card, John.
Yes, but you find, don't you, that 9 times out of 10 the referee can't see all of the game, and 9 times out of 10 they give the offside decision. They take the easy option. I'm not saying that Hampson was onside, but and Wakefield hammering away at Wigan. Cowie backpedaling well. Slater behind the play of the ball. And they get the backs moving as it's handed on by Price. And let Wakefield make the break, turn it inside, and they're keeping it going well. Conway switching the direction. Ball knocked down. Referee said it gone loose. Trinity still in possession. Just inside the 25. Bit of a wasted tackle there in the 5th tackle. Onto Conway. Conway changing direction, throws a very loose pass. Drop goal attempt, not going to rise more than a couple of inches above the ground. And then it sits up easily for Wigan. Onto Myers. Myers tries to turn it inside, and the referee says it's a knock on. And another Wigan player injured. Well, both sides suffering with injuries. Referee stopping the clock on the normal time so far. 7:25. We've played 32 minutes about. There have been stoppages, of course. And there are no easy fixtures now in this First Division. Every game is torrid. Very, very physical, these games now in the First Division. And it's taken the toll from lots of the players. The whole of the Wigan front row practically wiped out. Bell out, Lydon out, Botic out. Edwards out. Almost an international side missing there. And Trinity have also had the problems. Gregory puts it in and gets it out. Paniper gets nowhere at all. Hampson handing it on. Trinity easily containing the Wigan attack, which is mostly one man at a time. O'Donnell now, who should be the acting half-back, onto Gregory. Gregory changing direction, turning and twisting. Eventually just lobs it across the field. Not a great source of inspiration this afternoon. It's Cowie. 5 tackles gone. Gregory kicks it out towards the Wilson wing. Wilson going back for it, takes it cleanly. Faced with Blakely. And Stoop. Trinity with it on their own 25, gaining 5 precious yards. Hanging on to this 6-point lead. Wigan 6, Trinity 12. Trinity now 35 yards out, leaving the job to the forwards to come driving down the centre of the field. And these Trinity forwards relish in this game now. Wigan hesitant going in. Myers eventually comes over, puts his man down. Referee says 6 tackles have gone as Blakely comes up to take the play of the ball. Wigan with very pedestrian football at the moment as Platt tries to make a break, slips it in what looked very much a forward pass, but the referee lets it go as O'Donnell comes up and hands it on to Gregory. Gregory trying to go, give the short pass on to Gildart. Gildart lets it back to Gregory. Gregory turning and twisting and caught in possession. Not thinking as fast as he usually does. O'Donnell puts an overhead kick in and he takes possession. O'Donnell still going, gets it out. Onto Blakely. O'Donnell coming up. Long pass to Gregory. Gregory taking on the defence. Sends a long wide pass out. Wigan trying to get it out onto the left wing, onto Ball. Ball's going for the line and he's lost the ball short of the line. But the touch judge's flag is up. Is he going to give a touch? Going to give a handover for the 6th tackle. Wigan not ready for it. Trinity trying to bring it away. Well, for once, Wigan stretch the Trinity defence there. About 3 minutes of normal time to go. Trinity back in their own 25. Probably quite happy to stitch it up. Play it safe. Hang on to the 6-point lead. They'll be highly delighted at having to beat the club that is supposed to be the world champions. Not played like world champions this afternoon. Trinity fighting the way out of the 25 with sound, safe football. 5 tackles gone. There's the kick through. Blakely and Hampson going back for it in the Wigan 25. 4 Trinity defenders. Oh, and Hampson nearly through. Very athletic and agile there. Bounces out of a tackle. Gregory showing them the ball again. The gap not there. This wall holding solid and safe. But there's a big overlap on this wing. If they can get it out, they go down the middle, turn inside. Looking for support onto Gildart. Gildart going up the 25 line. Still going, taken well and put down. The gap appeared. If Wigan could have got it further out, they had a big overlap. They've still got an overlap on the wing, but they decide to go down the middle, turning it inside and held 8 yards out and lost the ball. The referee give the knock on. Desperation, all written all over the Wigan players. Coming into it right at the death.
Today is Wakefield Trinity Man of the Match Award, by Chase Holidays, from the number 12.
Well, now, Wigan going to pull it out of the fire in the last minute, David.
Well, if the ball goes into the scrum as it has done and Wakefield Trinity get the possession, it seems that they've only got to play these last 6 tackles out. And, oh, that's a... Yes, Gregory there. A really high tackle on Mark Conway. And I would imagine that if Wakefield can put this ball into touch, that would more or less seal the fate of Wigan this afternoon. A tremendous performance by Wakefield Trinity. They were 6 points to 0 down at half-time, remember. But this game did start off very, very slow, very, very quiet with a lot of mistakes. But it's turned out into something special for the 6,000 spectators today. So as we're almost on the final hooter, John, I'll just pass it back to you for the final parts of the commentary for this game.
Well, I would imagine that Trinity will play it out. They didn't kick for touch. Kept possession, little tap. This ball will be tighter than Fort Knox now. One pass and in they go, taking them forward. Cowie having a job, putting his man down. Conway now, Hooker Conway. And the drive in the way, and they made the breakthrough. Trinity surging down the field. Wigan trying to smother them, went in, not a high around the chest, but he could have been dangerously high there. Wigan shirt collar tackling at the moment, which could cause a lot of trouble. Just sticking an arm out, not putting the man down. 5 tackles gone, says the referee. Trinity now happy to be down in the Wigan 25. They try to drop goal. And Lazenby from 20 yards out really seals the game as we go into injury time. Lazenby drops a goal. Wigan 6, Trinity 13. Well, Wakefield will be very pleased with this afternoon's performance. 2 very precious points as Gregory comes tearing in. Wakefield stuck to the task extremely well this afternoon. Been more incisive than Wigan, more determined than Wigan, and a better team on the afternoon. Well, Wigan beaten in the semi-final on Thursday and now losing a league match. They started the season badly with a terrible performance against Castleford, and there's it rolling into the in-goal area. Blakely just managing to stay in play. Hampson behind him, and Hampson does well if he stayed in play as the defenders came in to push him back. Wigan 10 yards out from their own line, coming away from acting half-back, but he's on his own. That's a great run by the hooker. Tremendous run by O'Donnell. There's nobody up with him. That's a great run by O'Donnell. Tremendous run by the Wigan reserve player. Blakely caught in possession. 5 tackles gone. Well, that was a tremendous run by O'Donnell. Gregory going for the line, lets the ball go, it's on the last tackle, nothing else he could do. There was no support from the other Wigan players, and so Trinity have it in their own 25. Well, that was the most exciting run that Wigan have made all afternoon. It came from this very young boy, O'Donnell. Bit of mauling going on in the tackle. Cowie having a job, throwing his man down. Gap a mile wide for the acting half-back. Trinity spectators savouring this game now. Little overhead kick. Gregory's the man who's back. Flicks it inside. On to Hampson. Hampson making a good run. Coming on the outside. Gets it out. And Blakely dropped it and doesn't find it's been knocked on again. Well, a comedy of errors as the Hooter goals. Final score, Wigan 6, Trinity 13. Another defeat for Wigan, and Dave is probably highly delighted with that result.
Well, obviously the points are welcome at Bellevue. I mean, just recently, Wakefield Trinity obviously going through bad patches, but 2 points in the league have been more important than the progression in the Yorkshire Cup as far as we're concerned. We've had tremendous financial problems this season, but obviously victories like at Warrington and Wigan here at home at Bellevue obviously stand the club in good stead. Tremendous victory for the players today, but all credit to Wigan who performed for a full 70 minutes in making this game what it was today. A very, very entertaining game, but Wakefield Trinity, I'm sure as you will agree, John, came out worthy winners. They had the more fire in the belly, especially in the second half, scored some absolutely tremendous tries, tackled exceptionally well, and as I say, today, tremendous game, but the best side won. Wakefield Trinity 13, Wigan 6.
Thank you very much, David, and that just about wraps it up, and we hope we'll meet again for another entertaining game at Central Park when Wakefield come over into Lancashire.